It's Accountex Live, London 2023, one of the biggest events in the world. As the official broadcast partners, we're doing another in our series of interviews with very special people at this very special event. I'm thrilled to have with me today from Watch This Space, Mo Kanjilal. Good day to you.
Hello.
Hey, Mo, how's it gone for you so far? Your first Accountex?
First Accountex, yeah, it's been great. So I've also been at another show this morning at Excel. So I've done a talk there this morning.
Is this not enough for you?
I know, and I'm doing a talk again this afternoon, so it's a busy day.
You clearly have more hours in your day than the rest of us.
I like to keep busy.
What do you like talking about? What's your passion, Mo?
So we're a diversity and inclusion company, so that's what I talk about, and I talk about the reasons why it's crucial to recruit diverse and inclusive teams.
Why is it crucial?
So there's lots of reasons why. So firstly, it's the right thing to do. We want people to feel like they can pursue the careers they want to, that they feel included in workplaces. But there's also huge business benefits. So diverse teams are more innovative, they're more creative, people are productive, people feel they can belong and want to work in those companies. And there's so many companies struggling to recruit right now that if they don't focus on this, they're going to miss out on all of these people that might work for them if they don't think about it.
Why does it seem, Mo, that we're talking more about diversity and inclusion now? And 10, 15 years ago, this wasn't on the agenda at all.
No, it wasn't. Well, it probably was on the agenda, but not so sort of in people's eyes so much. And it's because the world is changing constantly, and if you look at the stats around it, it's the generations that are younger who are the ones that when they're looking for a job, they look at what the employer's doing around diversity and inclusion and sustainability. Those are the top things that they look for. And if they see companies aren't doing anything about that, they move on to the next employer because they want to live in a world that is equal, fair, equitable for people.
It's such a great point because the power is in the employees at the moment.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it would be the employer that would give you the job and you work here or not. It makes no difference to us, we'll get somebody else. There's plenty behind you, so if you don't want the job and you don't adhere to our rules and our culture and our values and our policy, you're out. But nowadays, the employees, the talent are driving the agenda, which is great.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And what we've seen during the pandemic is lots of employers said remote working couldn't work. There's no way you can do that job flexibly and work from home. And overnight they made it work. And so it's changed perceptions around how you can work. And actually what we've seen is lots of women particularly have started their own businesses. Like me and my business partner, it's exactly what we did because workplaces just weren't working for people. So people are facing discrimination, inflexible employers, and those things have got to change, and they are changing, but we need different types of people to be leading as well, so it isn't all the same types of people leading companies.
Now forgive me if what I'm about to say is politically incorrect to an extent, but you tick a lot of diversity boxes. I look at you now, you're young, you're female, what's your background, what's your heritage?
Indian.
Okay,
yeah.
So you're well qualified to speak on diversity on a number of levels, because as you've hinted, it is generational. It is gender-based. There's even a working class and an upper class agenda. There's all kinds of things. So just speak to us about how complex this conversation is.
Yeah, so my talk actually is beyond ticking boxes.
Oh, okay, yes.
Because actually, yes, I do tick boxes. And when I used to work in corporate, I used to work in big international
Well, it gives you
corporations.
credibility to talk about it.
In a way, I mean, I used to, for example, often be asked if I could be photographed for the website because I ticked boxes.
Wow.
That isn't nice to me.
That's not
like
right.
That's telling someone, okay,
No.
you look all right to be on our website.
Yeah.
And actually, I faced a lot of discrimination in those companies, and I'm not the only one who did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big conversation about different ways in which we're diverse. So there's socioeconomics, how you live your life. There's different forms of neurodiversity. There's personality types, introverts, extroverts, as well as those demographics that are more tracked by things that are protected characteristics, so race, gender, sexuality. Whether you're a parent or not, that really changes people's perspective on the world. And actually loads of women have found that employers are totally inflexible. So the stat there is 54,000 women a year lose their jobs through maternity discrimination. So it's quite shocking, and so far to go on this, that we really need to move beyond those boxes that people are ticking.
Well, I heard a new phrase recently called reverse racism. So I'm white, and a friend of mine went to a black church.
Yeah.
And he said he felt very uncomfortable. And he said he'd never felt that way before, but it gave him a sense of how black people feel in a white environment, of what the effects of racism. So
Yeah, I mean that's interesting because obviously for a lot of us that's how we experience the world all
Yeah.
the time. I'm constantly asked where I'm from all the time.
Yeah.
And when people say are you from, they mean where's your skin colour from.
Yes.
That's what they're really asking.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of people that's the world we live in. So in a way it's great that people are realising things, but in a way it's also screamingly frustrating. You know, my parents when they emigrated from India faced racism, you know, back in the day, and it's still going on now.
Yeah. You seem to be on a crusade, which is wonderful. People need to speak out about these things, raise it to the top of the agenda, and drive firms, companies to make changes. Is that how you feel your role is?
Yeah, so we think it's the future of business success because actually the business case is really proven, there's lots of research around it, that diverse teams are more innovative because they have different people with different perspectives. So they come up with more new ideas, they make decisions faster with about half the number of meetings, and so they're more profitable. So actually, for the future of businesses, it's something people can't ignore, and those that do ignore it are the ones that will start to fade away and won't be the ones that are the companies of the future.
Yeah. I read a book by Matthew Syed called Rebels. You know
Rebel Ideas is
Rebel
one of my
Ideas.
favourite. It's in my talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
But just the idea of the 9/11 bombings and the CIA were so blindsided to the intel that was coming in because they were all middle-aged white male graduates from Harvard or wherever it was, and they didn't have that diversity of thought in there.
Yeah, it's such a good book. I recommend that book to people all the time because there's so many good examples in it. Like the England football team, do you remember that, where they say, you know, they're lacking some different perspectives about what to do that's different. So yeah, it's a really good book. So I always recommend that book to people. And the other one I recommend is called Invisible Women by Caroline Criado Perez.
Yeah.
That one is brilliant because it just shows you how far there is to go. And it's a really data-driven look at how the world's designed for men.
Yeah, frightening. But we are making strides, aren't we? We are getting somewhere. Do you see a shift?
I do see a shift and I do see things changing, but then I look at how women are treated when they're in positions of power too. So, for example, Jacinda Ardern, who is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, who has retired from that role, faced a lot of abuse, and she's not the only one, there's other examples I could give you. So, yes, it's great to see way more different types of people in leadership roles and starting their own companies, but there's still a long way to go.
Accountants as a breed, I'm not a qualified accountant, full disclosure, but they're not known for their ability to change and be agile and adopt new ways of thinking. It's traditionally been a white, stale, male and pale environment. You probably heard that phrase, Mo.
Yes.
So in terms of you driving change in this profession, do you find it a little slower than perhaps other sectors?
So I would say other sectors are slow too. It's not the only sector, but yes, it is slow. But then we are here as the official diversity and inclusion partners of the show.
Yes.
I'm doing a talk. We've had lots of people coming to our stand who want to talk about this. So I think there is an appetite for change.
Yeah. What would be your closing message to our watchers all over the world, Mo, about what you're trying to do and what the future looks like?
That diversity and inclusion isn't just about ticking boxes, it's about the future of business success. So people really need to wake up and really do something about it.
Wow. Well, Mo Kanjilal, it's been great talking to you today.
Thanks
Thank you so much for your time.